This lesson, we're going to look at translating shapes. So write down the title and date and have a go at the starter questions. Pause the video, please. Okay, here are the answers. Moving on to the nodi wers. So the nodi wers for today is to be able to translate a shape using a column vector. So pause the video and copy this down in your books, please. Okay, let's jump into it. So, translating shapes. What does translating mean? Well, in the sense of geometry, translating a shape means that the shape will stay exactly the same, but its position will change on a graph. Okay? So this shape, if I was to transform this shape, I was going to move it some spaces to the right, and then I was going to move it some spaces up. The shape itself would stay the same. So our shape's starting position was here. Draw that in. And I would say I wanted to move the shape 5 spaces to the right, and then I wanted to move it 3 spaces up. So I've successfully moved this shape to the right and then moved it up a couple of spaces, okay? But in maths, we like to explain things using as few words as possible. We like to explain things as simply as we can in maths. So in this case, we're going to use something called column vectors. So what is a column vector? Well, a column vector is what we use to give instructions on how we move things on a graph, okay? So if we think about a graph, we have 2 axes on a graph. We have the horizontal axis and we have the vertical axis. The horizontal is this one, and the vertical is this one. So horizontal goes left to right, vertical goes up or down, okay? As we go on to the right on a graph, the horizontal plane, we call going to the right being more positive, and we call going to the left on the horizontal plane more negative. With vertical, if we go up on the vertical plane, we call that being more positive, and if we go down, call that being more negative, okay? So a column vector, so if, for example, I had a shape, and I wanted to move it to the right 3 spaces, and then I wanted to move it, and then I wanted to move it up 2. The column vector for this would be just this: 3, 2. Now, have a little think. Why do you think this is how I would write the instructions to go right 3 and up 2? I'll give you another example. If I wanted to move a shape to the left 4 times and then down 5 times, the column vector for that would be -4, -5. So have a little stop and think about how these column vectors are working. Have a little think to yourselves for a couple of seconds. So, like we said earlier, on the horizontal axis, so left to right, if we go to the right, the number's more positive, and if we go to the left, the number becomes negative. So that is why the top number, if we want to go move something to the right 3 times, if we look at this top example here, if I want to move to the right 3 spaces, the top number tells me whether I go left or right. And because I'm going to the right and that's more positive, the top number is +3. And the bottom number tells me whether I go up or down. And because it's a positive number, we can see the vertical axis, positive means going up. And for the bottom example down here, because I go to the left 4 times, well, going to the left on the x-axis is moving in the negative direction. So to go left 4 times would be to go -4. And to go down, well, going down on the y-axis or vertical axis means to be more negative. So to go down would be -5. A way to give this as a very big, broad example is if we have a column vector here, the top number tells you whether you go left or right. If you go to the right, your number has to be positive. If you want to go to the left, your number has to be negative. The bottom number, if you want to go up, your number is positive. If you want to go down, your number is negative. Let's have a look at some very quick examples on a graph. So I've got a red shape here, a red triangle, okay? So say I wanted to move this triangle 4 to the right and 3 down. Have a little think to yourself, what column vector would I have to write if I wanted to draw this shape, moving it 4 to the right and 3 down? Well, the top number would be positive 4, because going to the right is positive. Because I'm going down, it'd be negative 3, okay? So let's draw a quick triangle. So let's move this triangle. So we started on the red one. I'm going to move it to the right 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to move it down 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So now I've successfully moved the green triangle. So starting from the red triangle, I've moved it right 4 times and then down 3 times. What about if I wanted to do a different triangle and I wanted to move it 1 to the left and then 2 up? Have a little think. What would my column vector be for that number? So I'm starting at the red one and I want to move it 1 to the left and then 2 up. Well, because I'm going to the left now, if I go to the left, that's negative. So the top number is going to be negative 1. And the bottom number, because I'm going up, is positive. It'd just be positive 2. So if I draw another triangle, we're going to start on the red one. We're going to go 1 to the left, 1, and then we're going to go 2 up, 1, 2. So I've successfully translated the red triangle 1 to the left and 2 up using the column vector -1 and 2. Okay? Now, let's have a look at some examples of how you're going to complete the task today. Okay, so let's have a look at 2 examples for the translation questions for the first part of the lesson, okay? So we're asked, for first question A, we're asked to translate triangle A, that's this one here, by the column vector 1, 3, and we're told to label our new shape or image B, okay? So question A, we're looking to translate with the column vector 1, 3. So let's have a quick think a second. If we draw a big column vector over here, what did the top number mean again? Well, the top number told us whether we went left or whether we went right. And if the number was positive, we went to the right. And if the number was negative, we went to the left. What about the bottom number? Well, this number told us whether we went up or down. If the number was positive, we went up. And if the number was negative, we went down. So let's have a look at our column vector for question A. The top number is positive 1. So because it's positive, we know that it's telling us to go to the right. How far is it telling us to go to the right? Well, it's 1. So we're going to go to the right once. Now, what about the bottom number? So this one told us whether we went up or down. Because it's positive, we know we're going to be moving the shape up. And because it's 3, we're going to be moving the shape up 3 times. So how are we going to do this? On my computer, I was able to move the whole shape around, so it was nice and easy for me, but unfortunately, you guys are going to have to do this by hand on paper. So what's the best way to do this? Well, what we can do is we can pick a point on our triangle. I'm going to pick this bottom left point here, and we're going to move this point and then redraw the triangle around that point. So what does that look like? So we've picked our point. Now, let's look back to our instructions. What did they tell us to do? They told us we had to go right once and then up 3 times. So let's do that to this dot. So we're going to move it to the right once, for there. And now we're going to move it up 3 times. 1, 2, 3. It's our final point, okay? Now, all we need to do is just redraw our original triangle where this starting from this new point, okay? So if I look at the point on the far left, I can see the base of the triangle is 3 squares long. So let's draw a 3 square long line. 1, 2, 3. the side of the triangle was 2 squares high. So I'm going to go up 1, 2. And because there's only 3 points in a triangle, all I need to do now is join up these 2 points at the top here. Done. Now the last thing, very important, make sure you don't forget this, in the questions, it'll always tell you what to label your new shape. In this case, we've been told to label this triangle B. Okay? So we've successfully translated shape A to shape B using column vector 1, 3. Okay? Let's have a look at another example. So for B, we're asked to use the column vector -8 over 0. So what do these mean again? Well, the top number tells us if we go to the right or left. Because it's a negative number, we know it's going to go to the left. And because it's -8, it's going to go to the left 8 times. Now the 0. Now don't get tricked out by this. The 0 is it looks like it means exactly what it is. So 0 means, because it's the bottom number, it tells us whether we're going up or down. But because it's 0, we're not going to move up or down. We're going to stay where we are. We're not going to move up or down. Okay? So let's move this shape now. So I'm going to use a different color dot for this one. I'm going to use blue dot. So to translate it to, we're drawing shape C now. So if we look at the top number, it was -8. So that means we have to go to the left 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then the bottom number tells us whether we move up or down. Well, it's 0, so I'm not going to move up or down. So that's it. This is my final point for the triangle. Now I need to redraw the triangle around this point. Because it was the far left corner, the triangle had a base 3 squares long. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. It was 2 squares high. 1, 2, 3. And then all we had to do was join up the last 2 dots there. Label this shape C, and we're done. And that's it. That's all there is to it, okay? So pause the video, copy down these examples, then have a go at the translation tasks, part A and part B, okay? So pause the video and crack on with those. Okay, so here are the answers. Pause the video, take your time marking them, make sure you don't incorrectly mark them or mark them incorrectly if you did mark them correctly, if you did get them wrong, okay? So let's move on to the second part of the lesson now. Now this is interpreting translations, okay? So in this case, we're already given the shape after it's been translated, and we have to find out what the instructions were that told it to move there. So for the first question, we're asked to translate triangle A to triangle B. So what were the instructions that made triangle A move to triangle B? So first of all, we need to find the triangles. There's triangle A, there's triangle B. So for part A, we're trying to find out how we got from A to B. Again, all we need to do is pick a point on triangle A, find the same point on triangle B, and work out how we got there. First of all, going left and right, and then going up or down. So to get from A to B, the point anyway, do I have to go left or right at all? I don't. I'm already directly beneath it. So that means, because I don't have to go anywhere left or right, I know my top number for the column vector will be 0. So now I know I'm below B. Do I have to move up or down now? I have to move up. So I know it's going to be a positive number. How many times do I have to move up? We'll just count it. 1, 2, 3. So I've gone 3 times up. Remember, if we go up, that's positive. So the bottom number will be positive 3. Okay? So to answer, the column vector used to translate triangle A to triangle B was 0, 3. Just like that. Okay? For part B now, let's use a slightly different color again. So B, we're trying to translate triangle A to triangle C. Okay, so we've got triangle A here. Triangle C is all the way over here. So we're looking for A to C this time. So Again, we're going to pick two of the same points on both triangles. So I'm going to pick the bottom left corner again, there and there. Now, going left or right, how many spaces do I have to move to get to this, to get under this point on C? Well, I have to go left first of all, so I know I'm going to go left. How many times do I have to go left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've had to go 7 times to the left. Remember, when we go to the left, that's negative. So our top number will be -7. Well, what about going up now? So now we're directly below C. Do I have to go up or down? Well, I have to go up. How many times do I have to go up? Well, let's count. 1, 2. So now I know I have to go 2 times up, okay? And remember, on the y-axis, if we go up, that's positive. So the bottom number will just be +2, okay? And that's it, we're done. So the column vector to translate A to C was -7, 2, okay? So copy those answers down in your book. Show your workings out on the bit of paper, on your graph paper if you like, and then pause the video and have a go at these last set of questions, okay? So again, interpreting translations, part A and part B, okay? Best of luck. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers for those questions coming up. So here they are, so pause the video. Give them a tick if you got it right. Be honest, if you didn't get it right, don't mark it, but try and figure out where you went wrong, okay? So let's move on to the checking question now. So we want to find out, how has shape 1 been translated to shape 2? And we want to write our answer as a column vector, okay? So pause the video, and I want you to write down how we've translated shape 1 to shape 2 using column vectors, okay? Best of luck. Okay, so hopefully you had a good go at this question. So the first thing we had to do was identify 2 parts, 2 points on each shape that were exactly the same, okay? Just the same point on each shape. I'm going to pick this point on the right here, okay? So I'm going to find out how I get from this point here to this corresponding point on shape 2, okay? So first of all, do I go left or right? Well, I'm going to have to go to the right. How many spaces do I have to go to the right? Well, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm directly above it now, okay? So I went to the right 6 times. So my column vector, because I went to the right, that was positive. So it would be +6. Now, do I have to go up or down now to get to 2? Well, I have to go down, don't I? How many times do I go down? 1, 2, 3. So I've gone down 3 times. And if we remember, when we go down on the y-axis, that's a negative number. So the bottom number will be -3. Okay? So, well done if you got that right. If you didn't, copy down the answer just so you know for next time. Good work today, guys, and we'll see you next lesson. Bye now.